I know Justin Riker is
In
going
my
to do our
class.
introduction
Yeah, my
today.
class today.
All right, so I'm going to ask all of you to put yourself on mute, except
Yeah,
for
I'm
Justin
at
and speakers.
a special Olympics training class thing today.
Here comes Remy. Great. Okay, Justin, do you want to take it away with the intros?
No.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Chief Christopher Chute was born and raised in New Britain, where he graduated from the high school and earned his bachelor and master's degree from Central Connecticut State University. He began his 26-year career with the New Britain Police Department in 1996 as a patrol officer and was promoted many times, working all the way up to Chief of Police in 2019. Chief Chute retired from the New Britain Police Department and is now an associate professor at Post University and the first chief of police for the Connecticut State Community Colleges. Our second guest, Lieutenant Kelly Walsh, earned degrees from the University of New Haven and graduated from the FBI National Academy to prepare for serving in many different law enforcement roles. In 2005, she was assigned to the FBI Computer Crime Task Force in New Haven. In 2019, Kelly retired as a lieutenant with the Avon Police Department after 9 years. She now works for Hartford Healthcare, overseeing 120 public safety officers who support 3 acute care facilities, and is the main contact for the safety and emergency management needs of 70 locations. Kelly is also a full-time instructor at the University of New Haven for its Master's of Science Investigations program, and as a full-time instructor at the University of New Haven for its Master's of Science Investigation program. So let's please give a warm Global Messenger welcome to our guests, Christopher and Kelly. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Justin. And hey, Justin, go Eagles.
Now don't touch
Very
it.
good, Justin.
Yeah.
Little fun fact is I graduated high school with Justin.
Oh, you did? That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We also worked
So-
together when she was with Special Olympics because she was one of our special partners way back in the day.
Yes, we played basketball. I was not very good, but Nikki Mordashevitz was good.
Yes.
I see someone has their dog on their camera about 5 minutes ago and it just left.
Oh no, he's still here.
Oh, what a cute
Aw.
doggy.
He's so
Superman.
cute.
Dude.
Oh, what's his name, Kelly?
His name is Stormy,
Oh, I love the
Stormy.
name for dog.
but today he's Superman, so he's going to give us some superpower as we talk through some internet.
That's so
things.
cute.
That's cool.
I did it too.
Mm.
Okay, at least you're not the only one.
By the way,
All
Debbie,
right,
where's Junior? I haven't seen Junior in a while.
Oh, he's sleeping.
Oh, poor baby.
Oh, you're a doggy.
All right,
Well,
let's put ourselves
Chris
in
and
mute
I-
so we can hear from those guys.
Chris and I both know that you guys are very involved in the internet. We see all the postings that you guys do to support all of the competitions that you're in and Special Olympics, and then how you guys support the law enforcement torch run. So we really
That's me.
appreciate it, but
This again.
we're going to go over a few little things that to keep on your radar to keep you safe while you're online, or even just your safety in general for some of the scams that are out there.
So a couple of big scams and things that are going on currently right now have to do with two major areas. One is with Facebook. So how many of you have a Facebook account?
Not me.
Just about everybody has a Facebook account. So what we're seeing with
Get me.
Facebook what's the number one rule with Facebook is that if somebody friends you and you don't know who they are in real life, like you've not met them, be very wary of accepting that friend, because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to steal some information from you or trying to get a hold of your account, and they're trying to they'll disguise themselves as somebody that is an age mate, somebody that has similar interests, somebody wants to friend you and get some of your contact information. So that's the number one rule. But what I really want, what we're seeing a lot lately, and keep on the lookout for this. If you're friends with somebody on Facebook, now you're already friends, you know them in real life, you've been friends with them, you trade posts back and forth, you like their pictures, they like your pictures, and everything is okay. And then one day you see a friend request from that friend you're already a friend with, be very wary of that. Because what's usually happening is somebody is copying your friend's account, taking their picture, creating a fake account, and trying to contact you. So be very careful. That's one of the golden rules lately. If you're friends with somebody and you're liking their posts and they're liking yours and everything is okay with the two of you, and all of a sudden you get a friend request, like, aren't I friends with them already? Be very wary. I would not friend that person because it's probably not your friend. Give it like a day, and usually your friend who's been copied is gonna notice something and probably put something on their page going, hey, don't accept any friend requests from me because that's somebody else. That's not me. So that's definitely something to be very, very wary of. The other things that are going on there with Facebook, again, is those quizzes. How many of you guys have seen those quizzes where all of a sudden they ask you, hey, what was your favorite pet? If you were a pet, what would you be? A cat, a dog, or whatever else? And they ask you all of these different questions. And everybody knows about those questions, right? Don't go and answer those questions. Because guess what? Here are the questions they're going to ask you. What street did you grow up on when you were a child? What was your first pet's name? What's your mother's maiden name? And if you guys start hearing that pattern of the questions I'm asking, it's very, very similar to the questions you're asked when you forget your password, right? Because those are those secret questions that you answer and you set up in case you got locked out of your account, like you forgot your password, and it'll say, okay, to verify who you are, what street did you grow up on? What was your mother's maiden name? All those questions they put those in those silly quizzes, and they're collecting your data so that they can go in there and maybe get into another account of yours. If you have another account doing something else, or if it's, with Amazon or something else, and they're trying to sneak in there. So be very careful of those two things on Facebook. Kelly, you got another Facebook?
No, you're hitting both the big ones that are out there for Facebook.
There's another one that's out there, but it's not has to do with Facebook. It has to do with phone calls, and this one is going around a lot. There's two phone call ones that are going around. So if you get a call on your cell phone, it's usually your cell phone. There's two. So this one is really getting a lot of people, and it's really tricking a lot of people. And what they do is somebody calls you up and says, a family member of yours was either in an accident or was arrested, and they're asking for money right away to help them out. Do not answer that phone. I would hang up immediately, because if it's a family member or a friend, you're going to get a phone call from that family member or friend or another family member. If it's a stranger, it's usually with a strange accent that you're not going to recognize, and they're going to say they're out of state, and that's not going to make any sense while your family member who you live with is all of a sudden in a different state, and they're going to say that they're hurt or they're in a hospital or they're being arrested and they need money right away. Just think about that for a few seconds and go, where's my if they're talking about my mom and my mom's at work, or if they're talking about my brother or sister and I know that they live down the street, this doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of people get tricked into that, and we're talking about a lot of money that was sent over. Anytime they ask for money, they're going to say, well, don't send us cash. They want you to go to the store and buy a Home Depot gift card, or to buy a gift card to Amazon. And that's how they want you to pay to get the person out of jail or out of the hospital, which really makes no sense whatsoever. But unfortunately, a lot of people have fallen for that. So be very wary about that one. The next one, this is another big one that's going around. And you might get it through an email, You might get it on Facebook and you might get it on a phone call, but this is the tax one. It's tax season right now. And a lot of times these scammers are out there and they'll call up and they'll say, you owe some income tax. And if you don't pay your income tax, you're going to get arrested, or a loved one is going to get arrested. And the IRS is never, ever, a tax collector is never going to call you asking for that information. They send stuff certified mail. They're going to contact you in the proper channels. So those two right now are really, really big. Taxes, if you get phone call on taxes, I would not answer that call, and be very wary if somebody calls on behalf of a family member or loved one saying that they're in trouble, that they're hurt, that they're in the hospital, or they're in jail. So let me see what some of these comments. How often should you change your email and/or passwords? Okay, so that is a great question. How often should you change your email or your passwords? Now, I would suggest that you don't do it that often, because what happens when you don't remember your email or your password? You write it down, don't you? Or you put it somewhere in your phone or your computer. Now, if somebody were to pick up your computer and it's written down, and it's, some people tape their username and passwords right to their laptops, or they make a sticky note and they put it down on a table or their desk, and somebody walking by sees it, it's exposed. So I wouldn't change it that often. I would maybe once every year, once every other year. Obviously, if you have some kind of issue or complaint, obviously change it right away. But be careful about changing it too often, because you'll forget. You kind of want to keep your passwords consistent so that you can remember them and you're not writing them down or making a note or asking a friend or a family member to remember it. Sometimes on my cell phone, I get weird numbers on cell phones on your cell. Okay, that happens a lot. You get those. Luckily, we're this day and age in 2023, if you have an iPhone or if you have an Android phone, you get this spam alert, which is really good, because a lot of these numbers are identified already, and they're in a bank with Verizon Wireless or T-Mobile or what's the other one? AT&T. They usually kind of keep track of these numbers. So that's pretty good. But yeah, if you get a weird number, don't answer it. Let it go to voicemail. If they want to find you, somebody's going to contact you. They're going to contact you. They're going to send you a text message. They're going to email you. Let them leave a voicemail. Don't answer it if you don't know the number. Sometimes getting a text message and phone call, but do not. Yeah, definitely. Yep, that's the way to do it. So we really got to be just worried about the people who are contacting us that we don't know, the people that we don't know who they are. And that's the dangers. Now with emails, there's another email scam that's going on out there where you'll get somebody will pretend to be a family member or a close friend. These are a little bit harder to see through. But one thing I just want you guys to look at is, if you get an email from somebody, always double check to see what your email address is. Because say Kelly sends me an email. I'm going to know it's Kelly because I know her email address. I know what it says. I know what her email address. I know it's from her. But if all of a sudden I get an email that says it's Kelly Walsh, but then I look at the email address and it's like 9 numbers going across, or it's some word that doesn't make any sense, I know that's fake. Because I know Kelly Walsh. It's going to have her name and her email address. I've known, we've sent emails back and forth. I know it. If you get an email from what they call Amazon and they claim to be Amazon, and you look at the email address and it's a bunch of numbers and letters that do not make any sense, and it's like from @uk.net or something, that is not an Amazon. Amazon's not reaching out to you. They're not reaching out to you. That's not a real email address. So there's just some really simple things that you can do to kind of be aware of what's happening. And if you want to report it, because that was one of the other questions that were up there, you can always call your local police department, non-emergency number, and make a report. That's fine. There's also a bunch of other things online. If you want help, you can always reach out to me or Kelly. There's other services online that you can do quick Google search. One's called the IC3, which is a repository of taking these complaints from across the world, actually, for scams. Or there's other ways to report it, but we can always help you. Anytime you have an issue or a question, you can get a hold of us by email, and we'll try to direct that, or I'll just get the information from you and I'll report it for you, so I can get the ball rolling. Kelly?
The only other thing I was gonna add is the same thing you already touched on of the Amazon, because I've gotten a bunch of those text messages saying that I've ordered something on Amazon and there's a problem with it and they want me to click on a link in my text message. And of course, then I sit there and go, what did I order? Did I forget about? But I go into my Amazon account, log into my personal account and look and see if there's anything out of place, meaning is there an order in there that I did not order? But most of the time, all of those text messages, I shouldn't even say, I haven't gotten a legitimate one. All those text messages have been scams. There's somebody trying to have you go in there, log in so that they can take your information and create other accounts or log into your own account. So don't click on anything that you don't know where it's coming from.
And the other thing is if you get an email with an attachment or a text message with an attachment, and you don't know who that person's that's sending, those are the ones you definitely don't want to open. If you get an email from somebody and it's like a picture and it, there's an attachment and you don't know who that person is, don't even open it. Just delete it right away. If it's a legitimate concern, they're not going to send anything to you in an attachment. It's not going to happen. They're going to send it to you from a legitimate email site, email address, and it's going to be within the body of the actual email saying what's going on. So that's another trick, and that's a whole nother problem. That's how they install malware and all kind of spy tech into your devices. So just be careful of that. We're not seeing a lot of that. That's really a low frequency issue. The higher frequency is what Kelly's talking about. Those Amazon, spam text messages. And when you get your phone, if you have that question where it says spam, report spam, just click on yes, report that spam. It helps everybody else out. And that's the really good thing about technology these days, is that they're really keeping track of this and helping us out. If we were talking, 20 years ago before the iPhones came out and everybody had those flip phones for cell phones, all kinds of scams were going on, really bad ones, and people were falling for them. So now we have some technology that really helps us out. So I think the frequency of people getting wrapped up in these are going down, but we just gotta use a little bit of time. Don't rush to answer anything. Don't ever rush to answer anything. Now, if your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or somebody really close is calling you and it's them, answer it. Everybody else can wait. There's no rush.
Maybe as much as a few days. I would say one other thing to add outside of kind of keeping yourself safe is if you are to order anything online, be very careful of where you're ordering things from and make sure that it's a legitimate site. And again, you can check with one of us to make sure that you're ordering from somewhere you should be, because you don't want to be sending your credit card information or your debit card information to a company that's actually just going to scam you. So be very careful of those. Especially like if you're on Instagram or Facebook, you have your pop-up ads that, intrigue you into buying this new sweatshirt or trinket or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then you click on it and you order it and you never get it. But guess what? That company now has your credit card information. So be very careful and make sure that when you order something, it's from a legitimate site.
It's kind of like when you get a pop-up ad of this really cute outfit you can put on your puppy. Don't go to the pop-up ad. Go look up the real site for that, because you might get duped. Like Kelly didn't get duped. She ordered that from a legitimate site.
Amazon.
Also looks like she orders a lot of wine based on when I'm looking over her shoulder over there. Yeah.
I got a question to ask. I got an Apple Watch recently and a new phone recently. How will I know if something comes up, like if it's bad or good? How can I tell?
Kelly, you have an Apple Watch?
I do not have an Apple Watch. I have a
that's
Garmin.
right. You have a Garmin.
This is the one
that's
that I have recently.
So we actually aren't really good with Apple phones. We have them for work, and outside of that, we have Androids. So you probably just have
This
to
is the type that I have.
You probably have to go in and sync your contacts with your watch.
Right.
And that way it will show up as to who's calling on your watch.
Yeah, because sometimes I get like these weird phone calls and I don't know who they are. So I usually delete them or erase them.
That's fine. And like Chris said, if somebody really wants to or needs to get in touch with you, they'll know how to get in touch with you. So It's okay to ignore numbers that you don't know.
Now,
And
say if I'm at work and somebody tries to call me, do I call the cops right away in case like there's a problem, or I take care of it myself a different way?
Well, that depends. If it's somebody's asking for money or trying to sell you something, then I wouldn't necessarily call the police right away. Give it some time and then, look into it. You can always ask us. But if it's somebody that says, somebody's hurt or something like that, it's okay to call the police for that. Definitely.
Right. Mhm.
But again, the urge for a lot of people is when they get a text message is to respond right away or get an email and respond right away. There's no urge and there's no need, especially if it's coming from somebody trying to sell something or a friend. Just give it some time. Like I said, just look at where it's coming from, what the email address is. That's the simplest thing to do. Don't open any attachments. Ignore as much as you can, and really just pay attention to your family members, close friends, your supervisors at work, whatever, whoever
Right.
that's in your inner circle that in real life.
Yeah, because I think I learned about this when I was working at my job at one point, and they were teaching us stuff like this.
Yeah, and it's really, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that who I never would have figured that would have fell for some of these scams. And these are, some people that I thought for sure that they were street smart enough, like, oh, this will never happen to me. And I'm like, wow, they just got scammed. So it happens to everybody. It really does.
It happened to me.
My own dad was calling me not too long ago going, oh my gosh, I got these phone calls. And I'm like, okay, I'll take care of it for you. But it happens to everybody.
It happened to me.
Then my dad got scammed once.
We got some hands up. So Dan, what do you got?
Chris, I need to talk to you, but that day when I was working at Big Y, it's someone called from California, and they text me, and they give me a message, and I got text messages, and what I didn't know is a Pope who just died in Italy. And at home, we had spam calls.
So they got a hold of your numbers. Yeah.
So we got lots and lots of spam calls here. And a marketing call here a couple times. It keeps selling things. And when someone called my phone, when someone I don't know in California, and she's a strange lady, that's one thing. And my family lives in California.
So Dan, how long ago did this happen?
Well, I was working at Big Y, and my phone has been texted 2 months.
Okay. So that could be something we can call the Avon Police Department and make a complaint about. That sounds like that's a repeated incident. So that would be something you'd want to call them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, Aaron, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I get all those spam calls from my house phone and my cell phone, and what I usually do is whoever usually calls, I usually just let it go to voicemail, because sometimes when these spam calls, when they call, they don't answer back though, and it'd be like, now who is this mostly calling me and everything else? Because that's why I look up though and everything else, and I know exactly who it is. If I don't know who it is and everything else, so I won't even pick it up. If it's just a stupid call, I'll hang up. Same thing on my cell phone. Sometimes you'll get the silent numbers, because the silent numbers will pop right up though, and you'd be like, I don't know this person, and sometimes I don't even answer them. And you got too many of these spam calls. We should be finding these spam people and bringing them to justice and everything else though, because I think I think they're just like scamming off of people and trying to get money and everything else. So it's not something that we don't appreciate because we work hard for what we do.
I'm with you, Aaron. Good job. Barbara, I think it's Barbara or Barbara's iPad. I don't know.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. What do you
My
got?
name's John.
How you doing, John?
It happened to me, and my sister went to the Manchester Police Department. And they tracked it down to somebody all the way in Florida.
Oh, wow. Good for you for calling the police. Good.
Well, my
Robin.
sister went to the police department.
Oh, yeah, that's good though. That's good.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, Robin, what do you got? We got to unmute you, Robin.
Robin was putting in the chat before. She didn't know if we could hear her too, so.
We can't
Okay.
hear you though, Robin.
Yeah, Rob, I can't hear you.
Sorry, Robin.
Robin, we can't hear you.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, let's go to Justin then. What do you got, Justin?
It's kind of long, so I'm gonna send it to you through a message.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
1 second.
no problem.
So for me, one time I got a text message and a phone call from New York. It's like a random number, and it's like, okay, so I just be like, I deleted by mistake. I deleted the phone call, but then I finally went downstairs and let my parents know what happened, so they could get involved and have them to get involved with the situation.
Okay, well, that was good. Then you did good. All right.
I agree with Kim.
Okay.
No, it's Kimberly.
Sorry.
All right. So Justin, I'm reading. You have a question. Isn't it true that most hackers use a type of software to do with what's called alphanumeric to make it more easy to unscramble your personal information faster? There are some tools that are out there that scammers, not most scammers, there are some, a very low number that do that. The big scammers, the ones that are the biggest scammers are basically going out there and just doing like a blast. They're trying to capture as many people as they possibly can and doing random attacks. So you are right. There are more sophisticated scammers out there that use those tools. So that's a good pickup on that. And that's actually a lot of my students that I teach over at Post University do research papers on that. But low number, the bigger numbers are doing it a little bit more simple. Actually, the most of the theft and identity theft comes from people stealing mail out of your mailbox. That's where it really comes from. The people that will go to your mailbox or go dumpster diving and get your trash, and they'll pull stuff out like your banking account or your Verizon wireless bill or something else, and they'll start getting information that way. That's how they really do it. That's like the high volume. But you are right. So that's a good pickup there, Justin. iPhone 12, who's that? I don't know.
That's me, Remy.
How are you? What do you got?
Good. So I think it was like about like a year or two ago where I was getting messages like that, including like when it was like documented like files where you had to like click into it. And the one time it tricked me into scamming myself, which I had no idea how that happened. So then I realized, okay, so maybe I shouldn't have gone into it. Because then eventually, after when my parents found out, yeah, rep, no, they tricked you into scamming yourself. Don't do that. So now I just like ignore them, and I either like delete them or leave it. So I'm like, hey, this looks kind of fishy. I don't want to like go into it again.
Listen, you're a smart bunch here. Good job for you, Kelly. What do you think? This is smarter than the students that I teach. They're smarter.
I've got a question.
And they're going to school for it. You know, my students, they're reading the books and they're going to school, but you guys are a lot better off than them. Good job.
I also do work trainings for my job. So I do these trainings where you have to think before you click so you don't get caught into anything you don't want to.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So you're right, because it's all about that immediacy. We live in this world now. You get that text message or that instant message and you want to respond right away because that's the way we live, right? We're fast. And you really just got to just take some time. It's like when Kelly texts me and I ignore her for like 3 hours And then I get back to her because I know I got to think, because if I say something wrong, I'm in trouble when she gets home. So I got to think it out really well, you know.
When I do the trainings,
And I
I'm
did
protecting
get everything for
myself
dinner
and my.
tonight, Kelly. So we're good. All right.
Rebecca's got a question.
So what if it's like money? Like, have you done any cases on that?
Oh yeah. I've done a lot of, back when I was a detective and a supervisor, I did a lot of cases where a lot of money was taken. Just recently, I unfortunately had, when I was chief of police in New Britain, right before I retired, there was a case where one of the women that was very high up and she was a former director for human resources in the city of New Britain. And I also had a police commissioner, an actual police commissioner was scammed out of $10,000. And this was back in November, and the former human resource director, she was scammed out of $30,000 this past summer. But a
Oh
police
my
commissioner,
gosh.
you would think a police commissioner would be a little bit more street savvy and understand based on his experience, but it can happen to anybody. And that was basically, he got a phone call. It was one of those phone calls where they pretended that his son was arrested down out of state and they needed money to get him out of jail, and he panicked and he went and got the money and sent the money down, and he was out like, yeah, $12,000. It was really sad to see. And we worked the case. We're unable to find out who the person was, but we worked the case and we had to work with Kelly's, you know, like when she used to work for the FBI, you know, we have to deal with different agencies and everything else. So it gets a little tricky to investigate that, but all we got to do is just take our time. That's what we're doing. It sounds like this group's got it.
How long does a case last?
I'm sorry, what?
How long does a case last, or does it depend on what the case is, though?
That is a great question. Okay, I'll give you the answer. If it's under about $1,000, you got 1 year, the case lasts. If it's
Okay.
more than that, it's 5 years. That's how
Wow.
long it can last. After that, the statute of limitations is up. So we're on the clock from the time you report the crime and the crime occurs. 1 year for a small amount of money, 5 years for a lot of money. That is a great question. Nice job.
Ow.
I should have been on your team though, man. We would have solved these cases and everything else when people trying to steal money from other people though, man. I tell you, it's crazy. This whole world is so crazy with all these scammers and everything else. So, and then you got all these people who are like doing the dumbest things, and we're trying, you know, as people like us, so we're keeping our money of what we have for like retirement and all that stuff. Yes, I understand you retired a little early, but I would have met you one day, and I would have like mostly worked with you and everything else. So
I'd love it.
And we would have been solving cases and everything else. So like
we would have started a Netflix series on solving these crimes together. We could have done that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, Megan, you got your hand up, Megan. What do you got?
Yeah, so if I get upset with somebody on my phone about something, can I block somebody on my phone list if I can?
Yes.
I would rather do the same thing.
Because I have different concerns with people I like and people I do not like. I
agree.
You can block phone numbers.
I
That's
can?
definitely something to, talk through with somebody too, because you don't want to just block somebody if you're upset with them. So you might want to just kind of take a little cool off from them before you just block them. But you can block them. I mean, I block Chris every other day.
Yeah, me and Kelly we go on friendship breaks every now and then we block our number for about like 12 hours. And then we see each other at home. And we're like, oh, okay, we're over it. But it happens.
Yeah.
Can I do the same thing too, Chris?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
You want to go on a friendship break? Is that what you're asking? I got a lot of friendship breaks going on in my life, so
I get upset very easily with stuff now, so I try to block people if I feel like it, if that's okay.
It's okay to block people, but I mean, sometimes you just got to take a pause from them instead of blocking them.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's okay with you guys with that. I get upset with one of people I know if I get upset.
Me too. I'm the same way.
Can you hear me now or not?
Oh, we can hear you, Robin.
All right, good. I
Oh,
not my
good.
voice, but okay, I just want to make sure I'm on the struggle bus today in every way, shape, and form.
We
Well, the
hear
bus
you though.
made it.
No, I just wanted to say really quickly, pray that my voice comes back in 13 days, number one. But I often get emails that, like you were saying about that I ordered something and it's in some random Timbuktu place, and then I have to send them money in order to receive my package, which I know is not true. And I've actually gotten the phone call that you're talking about my mom being injured, and my mom was standing next to me. So there's a lot of crap out there.
Robin, that's a perfect example. That's why you just gotta wait. You're lucky. She was right next to you, but then, just gotta think for a second. Where are they? Are they at work? Are they, down the street? Yeah, but that's a great example. Wow, this is great. How long did both of you work at the police station before retiring? Kelly did 19 years, right?
17.
years?
Wow,
17 years, yeah.
bad.
I did 26 in New Britain, and then I just started a month ago with my new chief job. So I'll probably be doing it for 50 years if I'm still alive. My favorite show is Law and Order SVU.
Me too.
Thank you. I love that show.
I love that
Law and
show
Order.
too.
Dun,
That
dun.
Yeah.
and FBI. I love FBI though, and SWAT.
Well, there's
Okay.
always a Law and Order and the crossover event, organized crime.
I
Okay.
love me. It's always SBU because like come up with different things, but I just I'm into that kind of show, and it's interesting of what things happens around New York, and that's where it is. So I kind of enjoy watching that show, and the community is just cool.
I drive an SVU, a four-wheel drive SVU. Oh, no, that's an SUV. Oh, man, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not good at spelling.
I have a question for Kelly.
Sure.
When you retire, are you going to retire soon or not yet?
Oh, no, I did. In 2019, November 2019.
Okay.
I
because
retired
PSU
from Avon
Okay.
Police Department, and then I worked for 2 years at Travelers Insurance, and now I work at Hartford Healthcare.
But you're going to like this one because when I turn 40, I'm going to retire.
Good for you.
Did you say travelers?
You can join the club. We have a retirement club.
I'd
Did
rather
you
stay
say
my job. for a
travelers?
while.
I retired from Stop and Shop.
Did you say travelers?
I did. I worked at Travelers Insurance in Hartford.
That's where my brother Craig was.
Oh,
He
Hey.
does the Asheville part.
Hey, Kelly, my dad worked at Travelers in IT, and now he's done and he does projects around our two houses.
good for
I
you.
think Ryan's got a question. Ryan, your hand's up. What do you got?
Yes, I do. My question is, I know you were a former detective, so my question for you is, what the difference between cyberbullying and what's the other one, and the difference between human right abuses?
Oh, I like that.
Whoa, that's
I was gonna say,
that's
you
a
just
tough
went
one. Wow. Okay, so cyberbullying, that happens quite frequently, and that can happen at any age. You see cyberbullying at the young, it could be like an elementary school child to an elderly individual. It doesn't matter. Cyberbullying has many, many forms. It could be a form of harassment where kind of like the same person is constantly sending negative comments or negative posts or constantly picking on somebody else. It could be somebody goes to the extreme and creates a fake profile like on Facebook or Instagram and pretends to be the person just to create a bad reputation for them. It could get to it's very traumatic to the victim of the abuse. So it's just your traditional bullying that would happen in school or at work or anywhere else. And I hate to say, you see it with adults a lot. and probably more so with the kids these days, more with adults. And it could go, it's very traumatic to the person on the other end. That stuff needs to be reported because there is ways you can report through the social media platform that it's occurring. So if it's through Facebook, there is a process to report that so that you can be separated and blocked from each other. You have that through Instagram, and I'm assuming Snapchat is a little easier because there's a little bit more privacy with that. But you could definitely make those kinds of requests to have that done. Now, human rights abuses, now that's a very vague category. That your human rights abuses would be a little bit more one-on-one contact, the crime against a person versus, you know, something that's over, you know, over the internet or over a telecommunication system. So those are great question, fantastic question. Both of them are very serious, and they're both of them on different levels and investigated differently. But no, great question, Ryan.
Thank you. And that's it.
I got another question to ask. I have a best friend who's a Shelton cop. If any report like a stolen camera or somebody being hacked, what do I tell him in case like there's a bad emergency around here or with anybody else?
So when somebody contacts the police, they really got to contact the town or the city which the crime occurred in. So if it occurred in New Haven, they have to contact New Haven. If it occurred in Hartford, it has to be reported in Hartford. So that we just got to make sure that we do that because we don't want to confuse. Because if Dan's working in Avon and something occurs while he was working at Big Y or his home, and if he went to Farmington PD to report it, they're going to send him right back to Avon. So as long as we stay within the area where it occurred, not where you live per se, but where it happened. But most of what we're talking about today is going to be happening at your home. So it'd be your hometown. Question, what happened when a case gets cold? What do you do? Well, that's a great question. That's fantastic. So, and Kelly can chime in on this because she actually teaches a course over at University of New Haven about supervising an investigative unit. So usually what we do is when cases are assigned to detectives or investigators, we have what's called case review or case management, and we make sure that they're following up on those cases periodically, which means if it's a case and it's something that's very fresh and very new, they could be working on it every day until it comes to a resolution. If it does get cold, they're instructed by their supervisors to check in on it maybe once a week, once a month, until that statute of limitations expires or until all leads are exhausted. But when it gets cold, we don't like that. I don't think any real investigator likes it cold because we're kind of like, you know, we're like pit bulls. When we see something, you know, we want to sink our teeth into it. We want to follow it to the end. But Kelly, you can chime in on that.
The other benefit with, well, not benefit with cold cases, like Chris is saying, is that, you know, no investigator ever wants that. No agency, police department agency wants that. They want to bring a resolution to the victim of any type of crime. So the nice benefit of Connecticut and all of our agencies and probably all the law enforcement officers that you have run into is we all work together. And I don't, oh, you're showing me a scam right now that just came in on
I just got a scam just now. Amazon scam.
What did you order? Yes, but with our Connecticut, we work very well with all of the agencies and the state police and state agencies. So when a case does gets cold, we have the benefit of, we still work on it through case review and we don't let it get cold, and we have the resources that we can reach out to hopefully kind of spark the fire again on that case and have other people collaborate so that we can solve crimes, which I know from what he's saying that I teach a course on it. However, Chris has actually had experience in solving cold cases. So you never want to give up. You always want to give the resolution and the best outcome to the victims of any type of crime.
So here
Do
we
you
go.
try to arrest them?
Oh, definitely. That's our goal is to find out the truth. And then if we can identify who's the perpetrator, and then we have to, you know, investigate to see if we have probable cause to determine if we can charge somebody with it. And that's the goal, is to solve the case for the victim. We want to bring justice for the victim. That we're victim oriented. Some people think that law enforcement or police, where we want to catch bad guys. In reality, we want to help victims out. So if somebody was wronged or somebody was hurt, we want to get justice for them, because we deal with the victims. We see them, we see the pain they're going through. They don't deserve it. So we really want to bring some resolution for them. But here we go. This is Amazon. I probably backwards, right? But this is, and it's already identified that it's possible spam, and it's coming from AMZ_prime ID number. I know that's fake because I don't even have an Amazon account. I have Kelly's Amazon
I
account.
do.
So I use hers all the time, but with permission, only with permission. So I know that this is a complete scam, and it says that they're going to suspend my account if I don't pay, and I didn't order anything. So what am I going to do? Report spam. I'm going to click on that button that says report spam. I'm going to block that number. It's going to ask me to block the number, report the spam.
Oh, that's
and boom,
cool.
all
I
done.
got this morning at 3:30 in the morning. It's same Amazon that my account is blocked. I don't have Amazon. I have my mother's account.
Yep.
Yeah, see? So Kelly, don't look into our cart for the Amazon cart, okay? You don't want to see what I put in there, right? Wait for it to get delivered, then I'll ask for forgiveness.
So they can't get you again with that, can they?
Yeah.
You got too many of them mostly just doing that all the time though. And they try to scam you for money though and everything else. So you don't want to be on that.
Hi Alicia, thanks for the comment. I know I see you over there.
I'm here. I think I know you're going to ask Susie, remember?
Okay.
Yes. Alicia's my buddy.
Forever.
We
All
won't
right,
take
Megan,
them
you got a
personally.
question again, Megan?
Yes, I do. I do know someone, as you might know too. He lives in Sutton. He lives in Sutton, and he's a police officer down on my street. And he
Are you
retired.
never friends with my best friend, Sergeant Bill, are you?
No, it's a different one.
Oh,
This
him.
is the officer I know. Officer Mike. He lives Officer Mike, and he lives down my street.
So you got a lot of friends with police. That's good. Keep those.
Yes, I got Officer Mike down my street because me and Allison knows him for so many years.
Yeah, we've been to his house once, remember?
Can I ask him to help us out? If I know he's retired, but can he help us out with Sutton?
Yeah, if only if something happens in that town, yes. Yeah.
Because I know him for a long time, and me and Allison go down there all the time, walk in and saying hi to him.
and I've been friends with this cop for a long time too. I got a lot of other police friends, Chris.
Good. That's awesome.
Seem like
All right, I'm
all,
looking
seem like
for.
Yeah, Justin and Dan again have questions.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. Is that new? Those fresh hands there? Let's go. Dan, what do you got?
I want to tell you, I was bullied I was in school. At Bolingbrook School.
Roaring Brook? You were bullied in Roaring Brook? Is that what you said?
Yes. I was bullied twice.
Oh, Dan.
Did you?
I was in school in Avon.
Well, that is not very nice, Dan.
Yeah.
And from Dartmouth, I got bullied.
I'm sorry to hear that, Dan.
Are you okay now, Dan?
And Miss West Hartford too.
Yeah, no, it's tough, and it's really tough, and it's like these days, you get bullied in person, or you can get bullied online. It really stinks. I'm sorry about that, Dan.
Thank you.
We all are, Dan.
All right, Justin, what do you got, buddy?
I think he's on the
All right. I think Christopher and Kelly can back me up on this. When you're dealing with any major brand, whether it be at Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, GameStop, whatever, you have to be sure to look for that blue check mark, the star with the check mark, and that's the only way you can tell that it's from them and not from somebody else. Isn't that right, guys?
Yep, it's
Yes,
called
I agree on that,
a
Justin.
verified account. That's what that's called. That's a good job. That's a good look there, Justin. That's a great point to get across. Thank you for that. But you're right. You want to look for that blue check mark that says it's a verified account. Definitely.
I do the same thing too, Chris. I have Instagram, so I do the same thing. Like Justin saying.
Right.
Thank you, Justin.
So how will we know like when to block a number or something? Does it say like certain information on it?
Well, what I got was scam was probably reported by other individuals, that same account. So when it came through, when we have Verizon as our service, so they probably flagged it, and it prompted me to block it and said, this is potential spam and you can block it. But if you get any of the things that we're talking about today, just block that number so it doesn't come back again.
Okay. See how it goes on my phone if that ever happens.
And excuse me, I have to go because I have to do something for tomorrow. So I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye, Megan. So we're at
I know
about
that.
10 minutes.
I know I got to start making dinner for Kelly pretty soon and Stormy because they're getting hungry.
How about she cooks?
I'm making chicken
minutes.
tonight.
Is there anybody who didn't ask a
Chicken tonight.
question who would like to? Anybody that we missed? John's
Kelly,
hand is
I
up. Oh,
want to say
Jake.
hi to you.
Okay,
Jake.
John and Jake and Albert, and then we can wrap it up. So these guys can go have, so we can all have our dinner. So
Wait later.
let's see, who is it first? John and then Jake. Go ahead, John.
Debbie,
Yeah,
Debbie,
yeah,
can we do what we suggested?
yes. I'm gonna save 2 minutes at the end of the call for that. We'll circle back to you in a minute, John.
All right.
All right, Jake.
He's on mute.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Jake. Jake, unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Like
There you go.
for somebody's call. If you make an email for someone, do you think that you could hurt somebody's feelings, or can you just like stay off the Facebook to avoid it?
Well, the goal is not to hurt anybody's feelings. So, I mean, it's just like in anything else, just make sure you think before you hit send. And I think that happens too often where, like we were talking about blocking people's numbers because you get upset with them. We really got to think about, because words hurt, and we got to think about what we're sending and just take a few seconds before you hit send. And you really want, because if you hit send, it's always going to be out there. It's always going to be there. So,
yeah.
And you'll probably calm down a little bit and you probably go, oh, that's a good idea. I didn't send that.
Okay, and Albert, how about the last question of the day from Albert? Go ahead.
Well, you know, Chris and Kelly, it's good that we're talking about this because when in my day, I used to get bullied and, you know, unnecessary bullied, and I would tell the teacher and stuff, and people would ask me for money, but God bless all the Connecticut special ed teachers. I always say this because they taught me and us not to give to, if you're threatened, to give the money to the perpetrator and try to get what color coat or what color hair he has and report it, because it's not worth getting beat up or killed or anything like that.
That's true. Yep.
Thank you, Kelly and Chris, for coming on our today for talking about this, because I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well said, Albert.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Kelly.
well said, Albert. Very good.
By the way, I got my Captain America shirt though, so I'm just letting you know.
Oh, that's so cute.
Matt, did you have
Well,
something to say? Matt?
Yeah, I do. Kelly, I want to say that if someone gives me their information, like some people out in the world to grab your personal information and just call you, and if I don't know the person, and if I don't know anyone, then I just hang up and block the person, or just let it go to voicemail.
Mhm.
Do both. I sometimes if I will hang up on somebody if I don't know who the number is, and it can go to voicemail, and then I can listen to see if it was actually somebody that I should call back, or you can, like you said, if you say if it's your house phone and you
What?
answer a scam, you can just hang up on them.
No.
Right.
Yes.
I
was having when he called me, I don't answer my phone.
That's all I had.
Okay, thanks. So let's go over to John. He had a special announcement. So we're just gonna let him make his announcement, and then we'll close because it's just a few minutes before 5. So John, go for it.
Yes. I just want to wish Albert a happy birthday. Today is
Hey,
Where's
Hey,
Albert? Okay, I think we should all sing
Hey.
happy
Can I say
birthday to
something too?
Albert. Is everybody
Hey,
singing
Albert, happy
happy birthday
birthday.
to Albert?
Debbie.
Yeah.
Birthday, Albert.
Hey,
We love you.
Debbie.
who's gonna start? John, will you lead us in happy birthday?
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday,
dear Albert.
Happy birthday
to you.
I think he's blushing.
Birthday, Albie.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome, Albert.
You're welcome, Albert.
You're welcome, Albert.
Debbie,
Woo!
I
That
have
dog is so cute.
the opening of my play.
Well, good luck to you on your play.
Oh, thank
You'll be
you.
smart.
Good luck, Alex.
Okay, everybody, let's give Chris and Kelly a big round of applause. That was so important and so interesting and very informative.
Yeah.
Let's
Thank
hear it.
you. Thank you.
And
Thank
shout
you,
out to
Chris.
Jackie
Thank
for
you.
helping
Thanks,
Karen
Chris.
and I.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for
You
having us.
still got the dog now.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, if you have any questions or anything like that, email them to me. I'm sure we could forward them. And again,
Yeah.
thank you,
I'm
Chris and
done.
Kelly, for your time. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for participating. Have a
Yeah.
nice evening. We'll see you all real soon.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
I'm just kidding.